Hi, it's Andy Jenkins, and in this video, you're going to discover just how blind you've been and how that blindness is costing you real dollars every day with every visitor to your website. And I mean that literally. In fact, you'll soon discover that during any given second of any given day, you are visually blind 1/7 of the time. What's even more distressing is your site visitors are too. And if you're not designing your websites to deal with that visual blindness, you are costing yourself an easy 20% of all of your leads, opt-ins, and sales. This is probably tough information to swallow. Well, I'm sorry to have to be the one to tell you that it's probably even a lot worse than that. Let me give you some not so obvious examples. See this navigation bar? It looks like any other typical left-hand navigation bar that you might find on any website on the internet. It might even look like yours. Looks good, right? It's not. In fact, it's costing you to lose 25% of all of your hard-earned traffic. See this product page? Nice picture, good description text, even a cool little store policy graphic. Cool, right? Looks good. Except that this layout on this product page is costing you 25% of all of your visitors' add to cart actions. See this content page? It's all nice and SEO optimized with good keywords, short punchy descriptions, and just enough information to engage your visitors. Except the typography on this page is losing you 14% of your customers. Having fun yet? Enjoying this season of holiday giving? Well, be patient and I will be faithful, but first, I have to bake your noodle one more time. See the search engine results page? I'm going to give you 3 choices. Where would you like to rank? The number 6 position, the number 7 position, or the number 10 position on this page? Now choose. If you understood how our vision works and how a concept called saccadic blindness governs a user's behavior on worldwide web pages, you'd understand how and why the number 10 result on a Google search engine results page gets more clicks than a number 6 or a number 7 position. Okay. Let's fix this. Get some notebook paper, draw a line down the middle. At the top left-hand side, write down takeaways, and on the top right-hand side, write action items. You're going to be getting a lot of very sophisticated information, and when you're done getting it, you will have the skills to double your conversion. Welcome to the school of click-fu. See this blue dot bouncing on the screen? That's a literal, real-time representation of where my eyes are looking as I read the script. Welcome to the StomperNet Tobii Eye Tracking Laboratory. This device is just one tool in our lab, and it's a combination of computer software, hardware, and infrared camera that can tell to within a couple of pixels where my eyes are looking on the screen. And we use this sucker all the time to test our websites. See how my eyes move around a lot? And this is while I'm concentrating on reading this script. Imagine how much they move around when they don't have something as specific to do, like say when they're just poking around one of your websites. All of what you are about to learn is hard science. This is about how we as humans have evolved to support 2 very different visual tasks. And each one of these tasks is directly related to how we interact with web pages. It's about how we shop, and more importantly, about how we buy. But back before the internets, our eyes were designed to support 2 very different tasks. Let's talk about task number 1. The center of your eye is called the fovea, and it is sensitive to fine details and color. When you were a caveman, your fovea would help you decide if that berry on the ground was the kind of berry that you wanted to eat. The rest of your eye and visual system is called the periphery, and it's tuned to motion and contrast. And during your caveman years, often known as college, it would help you figure out if you were about to be eaten by a pride of lions while you were fixated on those berries. So your takeaway here is that your eye is comprised of 2 systems, the fovea to see color and details, and the periphery to see motion and contrast. Now, let's see if I can not ruin my relationship with Janine. This is Angelina Jolie. Duh. I'm going to turn on the Tobii Eye Tracker so you can see where my eyes are looking. I'd like to go on the record and say that this is all in the name of science. Eye tracker on. nice boots, pretty eyes. No, not there. Nice boots, nice eyes, nice, pretty gun. No. All right. The point is, my eyes don't see Angelina. They see all of the wobbly bits, and my visual cortex assembles them into a image that represents her in my mind. Hail Mary, full of grace. You see, this is how our visual systems see. Our eyes gather information, and our brain stitches it together to form an image. And here's the thing. Even though our brain forms the image, it's how we see that defines how important those parts of the image are to our brain. And once you understand that how we see causes what we see to have visual priority in our brain, web design all of a sudden becomes much more important than simple layout and color scheme. Folks, this is 20% of your business right here. And if you'd like some independent verification of that statistic, just ask your own company's cognitive psychologist. Oh, you mean you don't have a staff cognitive psychologist? Well, that's cool. We do. And you get to borrow him in this video. His name is Andy Edmonds, and he's not only a StomperNet faculty member and our company's chief scientist, he's also a trained cognitive psychologist and renowned web usability and, wait for it, conversion expert. Andy is going to walk you through 3 critical components of your website's design and usability. The end result should be threefold. You will have a notebook full of notes, an understanding of concepts that you previously had no idea affected the success of your site, and a roadmap to double your conversions. And don't worry about the math on this. It's easy. Doubling your conversions means doubling your sales, which means doubling your revenue. So I'm going to let you borrow Andy, but remember, at the end, you have to give him back. So Andy, why don't you talk to us about how our eyes work?
Thanks, AJ. This is a fascinating topic. Let me tell you, we have a ton of data to explain it. When your eyes look at anything, they jump around from place to place at over 5 times a second. Sure, you're definitely consciously aware that you look around at different things as the seconds tick by, but beneath your actual conscious perception, your eye is much busier than you know. In fact, small eye movements happen in as little as 1/50th of a second. And even the big eye movements, the kind that scan your surroundings, for example, only take a couple tenths of a second. These movements are called saccades, and there are 2 types, minor and major saccades. The science here can get complicated, so here's a rule of thumb. Major saccades help you get around a web page, for example. Micro saccades let you consume important details once you've found them with a major saccade. Now here's the thing. While your eye is moving, you're mostly blind. I'll bet that most people didn't know that is true. If you remember any high school or primary school biology, you might recall that your eye has 2 kinds of nerve endings or receptors, rods and cones. Here's the perfunctory geeked out scientific chart for that. The important piece of information here is how narrow the red graph in the middle is. This is your foveal field of view, where you're sensitive to detail and color. This is how wide of a view, or more correctly, how very narrow of a view your fovea has. And remember, the fovea is the part of your visual system that sees detail. And it's the fovea that lets your visitors absorb your sales message. Your fovea has a field of vision that's a minuscule 2 degrees wide. So consider this. You sit on average 21 inches away from your computer monitor. That means that your computer monitor spans only about 20 degrees of your vision. So you're only seeing 1/10 of the screen with your fovea. Only 1/10 with any detail. The rest of the screen is seen with your peripheral vision, which is not sensitive to detail and only sensitive to contrast and motion. Now let's see how this affects your visitors' behavior on your site. This is an old product page layout from a test we did with the Andy Jenkins Tapestry store. Pay special attention to the Add to Shopping Cart button. See where it is? Right below the product picture. Now this seems to make perfect sense, because we know that humans like to look at pictures when they look at web pages. So maybe it makes sense to put your call to action, in this case an Add to Cart button, in close proximity to a picture. But after doing extensive eye tracking work, we discovered this design was costing this page a 25% loss of Add to Cart actions. Why? Doesn't this layout make sense? Let's get inside the brain of a visitor. In the mental process of a user, what's the one thing that a user is guaranteed to do before they decide